Okay, this is my very first attempt with Screencast-O-Matic, and I am going to show you how to get to the library database. So first I open the Fresno City College website, and this is for looking for research material that I showed you very poorly in my PowerPoint. We go to, I'm sorry I did that wrong, go back here, go to library. Now we are in the library, or actually, yes, we are in the library. Okay, so we scroll down, and I did want to point out to you that at the bottom of this page, you can get a RAP session. A RAP session means you will get help from, it's a research assistance program. And they are customized 1-hour one-on-one appointments with a librarian to help you with your research needs. So that basically means that whichever prompt you choose, you just email the librarian. You can also chat or email, as it says up here, and then that you'll get an email back, and she will ask you, or he will ask you, what time is best for you, just as long as you do it 48 hours in advance. And that person will do research for you on your subject, and then show you what he or she has got and help you do even more. But I think that's all in person. I don't think they have a facility to do that online yet. Okay, so if I go back up and I look at research databases and click on it, I come to this page. And on this page, I have various opportunities. You have streaming audio video databases that you can look at. On the bottom, you have ebook collections. But because we're writing just a 2,000-word essay, I don't really recommend a full book because that's too much to read. You just want some articles, and you've already got 2 potential sources. And I've asked you to have 4 minimum. You can have more than 4. But 4 is good enough if you find enough things to say. If you don't find enough things to say, then you may need more sources. My favorite is EBSCOhost, which is right under frequently used periodical databases. But there's also ProQuest, which is reasonably good. Fresno Bee, I don't think for the Mexican-American War or Bhutto and terrorism would be a very good source. And I forgot what JSTOR means. Click on it and find out. Okay, so let's go to EBSCOhost. And then you have to sign in, so I'm signing in. I'm signing in again. Right. Remember the video, the long video I sent to you? I'm not going to make this one as long. It's not supposed to be more than 15 minutes, so I have to make sure I keep my eye on the clock. I'm going to write here Afghanistan and freedom fighters. If you recall, in the little video I made for you, I mentioned that in the era in which we first interfered with the Afghani push against Russia, all the articles we wrote referred to the Afghani Mujahideen as freedom fighters. So when they were fighting for things that we wanted, that's what we called them. They still want the same thing, but now terrorists and extremists have gotten involved and ruined their countries. So let's see, what do I find here? Liquidation of American forces from Afghanistan. I'm trying just based on the titles to decide what would be most useful to me. And then I also remember the freedom fighters were around the 1980s, 90s. So, and Bhutto died in 2007. Let's see, Reagan. Containment for real, 1986. The Afghan unraveling. Ooh, that looks interesting. Okay, the Afghan unraveling. As I showed you earlier, if you did like something, if you wanted to use an article, and this one doesn't show the article underneath, it says PDF full text. So that's what you would click on. And then if you liked it, you would click on the site, and you're not going to use the top one. You're going to go down to MLA, which is what we use in the humanities department. And if you have another kind of teacher who wants Chicago style, Harvard, and APA, which is used for a lot of different courses like architecture, they use APA. Then it would look like this. It would be the title, the author's name and his initial, and the date, the year of publication. But we're not doing APA. We're doing MLA. So if I were going to use this one, I would copy it just like that. Copy, and then I would paste it in my Works Cited. That doesn't mean that you aren't also going to have Beichmann in a parenthetical citation in text. You would have that too. The sooner you get your first brainstorms and rough drafts up on the draft workshop discussion board, the sooner I can help you by looking through them and telling you what else needs to be there. So let's look at the PDF full text and see if it has anything that might be interesting. I realize that some articles are difficult to read, and if they are difficult to read, as I said earlier, oh, there it is, the Afghan unraveling. Okay. But where does it starts, and then where does it go? That's bizarre. Huh? That's May 13th, page 18. And this is page 19. Okay, I guess it goes, but it doesn't go to, that says Jesse Jackson. Where's the Afghan part? Oh, it's underneath. Okay, it's a short one. The U.S.-Soviet-Afghan Accord is being opposed most vigorously, we have to remember this is 1988, by the party that is theoretically its principal beneficiary, the Afghan freedom fighters themselves. So, what they're saying here is that the Afghan freedom fighters did not want the U.S.-Soviet-Afghan Accord. Now, that's interesting because we don't even know what that means. U.S.-Soviet-Afghan Accord, so we might want to look that up. Okay, let me go to the bottom, and it's over here. It says, the barest knowledge of communist treaty compliance in the past ought to cast a long shadow over any new Soviet offer, but somehow history becomes inadmissible evidence whenever treaty fever strikes. They're being sarcastic. Even the most optimistic, however, should be able to grasp the reasons for the Afghan resistance's reluctance. The Soviets have already lied about their troop levels in Afghanistan, putting the number at 90,000. The real figure is around 120,000, with 15,000 fresh troops reportedly sent in this month. Whatever that month is, which was May, okay? None of these figures counts the 10,000 Soviet bloc secret police and security advisory personnel already in place to serve as a permanent infrastructure of repression. Okay, so you can already see that, we were against the Soviets in those days. We used to be anti-Russian. Somehow we changed. The new Geneva Accords will do nothing to prevent the Soviets from using diplomatic and covert pressure, including assassinations and terrorist bombings, against Pakistan to prevent the Pakistanis from aiding the free world effort to supply the freedom fighters. Okay. All right, so we were trying to help the freedom fighters. We were trying to push Russia out of Afghanistan, and it had a lot to do with Iran and oil and things like that. But how much do you need to know? You might be wondering. That's a good question. You only need enough to know enough to make a decision about the prompt. And sometimes if you can just read like 3 or 4 articles, you might not want to cite an article, but it might give you enough information to help you write your paper. This article is giving us information that the Russians were our enemies and that they were against us, and we were helping the Afghani Mujahideen to push the Russians back. So obviously their interests were not the same as our interests. Okay, so I'm going to go out of here and see if there's anything else. Maybe I should write Taliban. Or maybe I should write Rise of Taliban. And then, I don't know if this is too ambitious, U.S. support Middle East dictators, because I've already got rise of Taliban, so that limits the area. But am I going to find anything? Okay, let me take out U.S. support and just leave dictators. Okay, I'm going to try something else, because that brought me nothing. Taliban, Afghanistan. Alright, that's pretty broad. An African version of the Taliban, and that was 2006. The Islamic Courts Union in Somalia. Okay, that takes us away from Afghanistan. That's interesting. Persistence and change in Soviet and Russian relations with Afghanistan. Okay. This gives me an abstract. An abstract is like a summary, which is what you were learning to do with the documentary. All right. So this gives you a little idea. The Soviets' heritage is then revealed in order to understand Russia's current perception of post-Taliban Afghanistan, as well as Russia's emerging interest and commitment to Afghanistan's economic development. Well, of course, it wanted to control. What year was this? It was, I think it was, oh, it's 2012. Well, that would be several years after she died. This paper examines persistence and change in the Soviet Union's and then Russia's relations with Afghanistan with respect to development and security. I am not sure that this is going to have anything that would be useful. Except that it tells us that the Soviet Union has always had a very strong interest in Afghanistan, wanting to be part of it. Okay. Okay, and notice here in the very first paragraph, there's a comment about something about Afghanistan and export of development as a constructive answer to the bankrupt doctrine of democracy export. I would get the feeling there that the Russians, at the Russian-Afghan Forum, that the Russians look down their noses at the idea that Afghanistan could be democratic, which is exactly what Benazir Bhutto was saying, that people, that democracy has not been supported in Muslim countries because people are so scared of Islam. So they think that, well, we better not let that flourish, so we had better, suppress and support dictators. Now, I would also show you that while you're searching for terms here, earlier in the one I did, how many minutes are we? Can't tell. I can't tell how many minutes have gone already. Okay, I should have had my eye on the clock. Oh, 13 minutes. All right, I'm going to stop for a minute and then possibly make another one, but this is how you get in to do it. Okay, and if you need more, if you need me to do any of this personally for you, I can also help you with that.